Hello, everybody. I totally was way too tired to record last night, so we're recording right now, and I'm gonna hit on the thing that we talked about a couple days ago. We talked about journal writing. This is not a popular thing nowadays. I understand that. I totally get that, because I'm kind of an oddity in this regard. Now, there's been a lot said on this, and there's really nothing negative that has been said on this. Journal writing helps you improve your memory. It helps you understand what you've been through. It helps you learn better. And it becomes kind of a meditative process if you do it for any extended period of time. I don't know anybody who writes a journal who doesn't enjoy it. And I know a lot of people who write journals not consistently, who really wish that they did write them more consistently. So with that being said, I'm going to show you my journal setup because everybody always thinks get a paper book, write it in a paper book, or have a note on your phone that's going to end up being 800 pages long. I don't think it's practical. I'm a very organized person. At least I try to be. And so this is what I did. I like this concept. Maybe it won't work for you, but maybe it'll give you an idea of something that you can do. So I'm going to bring up my beautiful old iPhone 6 here because it's just gorgeous, isn't it? I actually, quite honestly, I loved the size of the iPhone 6. I wish they had just made an iPhone 6 that was all screen because it's just, I don't know. And how thin it is. It's beautiful. Anyway, so we're going to bring up my iPhone 6 here, right? Which has my Google Drive on it. Okay. So we can get this without any glare. Give or take. There we go. So we're going to go to my Google Drive, and I am looking off to the side because I'm looking in the screen so that I can tell. And we're going to go to my journal. Okay. And you guys can see it's loaded here, right? And I've got some important stuff at the bottom. And then I've got by year, right? So we'll go into a past year, so 2019, okay? And then I have it by month, right? And it's just folders. And I mean, it takes 2 seconds at the beginning of a month to make one of these folders, right? You just type in 02 February, right? It's super easy. You just make a new folder. And then when you do go into February, then you have individual documents. And in these documents, they're just labeled by the day, right? Whatever. And yeah, and so stuff like that. And then any extra notes that I have from some conference or anything I went to, I also tend to put in here. So yeah, I mean, it's a really simple system. Also, the nice thing about this is, as you can see on this one, you can put pictures in it. And I mean, if you're writing it on your phone, and I'm assuming you will be, then adding pictures is really easy because you literally just take them out of your camera roll, which is where 99% of your pictures are probably going to come from, and you just paste them into your journal. How to write a journal. This is the biggest thing, and this is the thing when I talk to people, and I have had conversations about this where people will be like, yeah, in theory I'd love to write a journal, but I don't have the time. I understand this. I totally do. I write it at the end of the day 90% of the time, and sometimes I do miss, and then the next day I go back and I catch up. That's normal. So first off, if you've never done this before and you want to, it might be good to say, okay, I'm going to write a once a week entry, you know, on Sunday nights or on Tuesday nights or whatever your quietest time is, that, you know, maybe that's Wednesday morning. It doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you, writing a once a week entry. And that'll be about the whole week. It'll be about the general stuff that you learned. It'll be about the general, like, major events that happen. You know, if it was grandma's 90th birthday, write that down, you know. And if it wasn't anything significant, just ruminate, you know, just think, just ponder, but do it out loud in the writing. You can also do this as a video journal. I tend not to because it does take an enormous amount of space unless you have your camera dialed way, way down on resolution. So that's what you can do. Now, these don't need to be long, right? Most of my entries are anywhere between 5 sentences, and extremely long ones come out to a page. And I mean, that's really, really long. Sometimes they come out insanely long because they have pictures in them too. So, I mean, obviously that makes it longer. Depending on the size of the picture. But yeah, I mean, they really don't need to be long. Usually I will spend typically between 5 and 10 minutes on an entry. If you're just starting out, you could probably do anywhere between 2 and 3 minutes on an entry. I've been doing this for 4.5, almost 5 years now. So it kind of makes sense. I'm going to take a little bit longer because I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. That's a very important thing to me. I like spending the time doing it. It helps me to think. But it's really not, critical to take a super long time. You write down key events. And then with time, maybe you want to do twice a week and maybe you want to do every day. And it's really when you do it every day that you start to see those memory improvements. And you will get that from doing it less often. Just obviously, if you do it more often, it's going to be more extreme because you get to the end of the day or the next morning and you reprocess all the information that you had the day before, right? So you're going to remember that really cool seminar on finance that you went to a lot better, or you're going to remember, Jim getting hit by a mower better because you thought over it again. So that's really important. And then the other thing is, who do you write to? Are you writing to yourself? Are you writing as if it's a book? Who are you writing to? Because probably, for the most part, nobody's ever going to read this. Now, that is with the exception of yourself, and you'll be surprised when you start writing a journal how much you go back to it. I think that's one of the biggest things that I did not expect when I started doing this, is that I'll be like, okay, so what did I do on this day, right? And I go into my calendar, and I generally, I have a pretty detailed calendar, but there's not always stuff on there about every day, right? I have, some general events, but I don't have specifics. And so I'm like, so what did I do? And I can go back to pretty much any day in about the last 4.5 years, and I can say, what did I do on that day? Any day, right? I can just pick a day in the middle of 2017 and say, what did I do on August 4th, 2017? And I can look, and there's a detailed record and probably a picture or two. So that is a really, really nice thing, and it comes in handy when you're trying to think back on certain events and when you're trying to think back on somebody's birthday. Did this really happen this way? Am I remembering this correctly? So that's really fun. But who do you write it to? You could write it to yourself. You can write it to an imaginary person in the future. You could write it to, let's say, your spouse, if you have one. You can write it to anybody. And that's totally up to you. And that's totally a personal comfort thing. And I think it's very important that you find something that's comfortable. I generally kind of just write to future people. And that could be future people, that could be myself if I need help from that. That could be my children or my grandchildren, or just future individual blank name unknown. And that's okay. There's not necessarily going to be a person that reads all of this. Highly unlikely that they will. However, it's very valuable for me. Anyway, so I would definitely suggest, guys, if you don't write a journal, try doing a weekly entry. If you want a paper books are awesome. There are a lot of great ones online. I believe if you go to DeseretBookstore.org, I'll put the link in the description for Deseret. They sell a lot of really nice journals for very reasonable prices. But you can also, you can just get a composition notebook at Walmart. Or you can do Google Drive, or you can do Word documents or Pages, or any variety of things. If you want to do videos, you can store them on Google Drive. They've got great expansion plans. You can do a PowerPoint, for crying out loud, if you want to. Whatever works for you. Anyway, this video is getting pretty long. I love you guys. I hope you do follow through with this. I hope you learned something. I hope there were some ideas that helped you. If there were, please slide down, subscribe. And don't forget to tell your friends about this. Hopefully, this channel can help some people. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.